Well, Buck, your playing time recently has increased because of the depth problems you have. Do you feel more responsibility to contribute more, or is that what you're trying to do when you get in the game?
Yes. Most of the time, the coaches just tell me, and the only thing you can do, we don't need you to do anything other than just defend and get some rebounds. That's pretty much it.
So what do they want you to do when you're on the offensive end, Bob?
Just run the offense. Coach Montgomery told me once, like, you've been here longer than most of the guys. You should know our offense more than the other guys. So when you're in there, just make sure you run the offense and set a screen for the other guys, like Allen and Justin Cobbs.
And is that the case? You know the offense very well?
Yeah.
The game against Modem and Wazoo a couple weeks back, was that your best defensive game you've played while you've been here?
I would say, because it wasn't that hard actually, because they just told me to guard one person, don't let him out of your sight. That's pretty much it. That's what I was doing, which is not really hard. You just stay with him the whole time, so it wasn't that bad. But I think that's probably the best game I played so far.
And when you manage to score, is that sort of a bonus for the team?
Yes, it is a bonus.
I imagine it makes you feel pretty good when you're able to contribute to the scoring.
Yeah. I mean, the more if you get a chance to score, that will give you a lot of energy to run back and then play good defense, and so it's kind of good.
David, will your family make the somewhat shorter trip to see you play this week?
Yeah, I've got some family coming out to Colorado, so that'll be nice. I know my parents are going. I don't know. I feel like somebody else will be there, but I'm not sure.
So your folks will be there, and somebody, but you're not sure.
Yeah, I think some other people might be going, but I'm not sure. They haven't really clarified with me yet.
Do they drive or do they fly?
My parents are actually going to be flying. It's actually cheaper for them to fly than to drive this time, so I guess that's nice for them.
Well, you don't have to drive either, so.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you talk about what you've seen out of Utah watching tape this week?
They play really hard. And they're clicking right now. They're not like, some people might see them as a weaker team, but they played everybody super tough and they played everybody really hard. I think they lost to UCLA by 3 or 4. They lost to Arizona by 3 or 4, and lost Arizona State in overtime by 2. So they're playing everybody tough, and you can't take anybody lightly. And they're a great team. They've got some really good players. They got some good guards, and then Washburn in particular is a really good low post scorer. So one game at a time.
When they beat Washington the other day, that
yeah.
attention?
Oh yeah. If you can go up to Washington, Washington's a tough place to play, and they play really hard, and they play really physical, especially when they're at home. So. If you can get into Washington at home, that says something.
David, is your team's lack of depth, is that becoming a problem for the starters having to just go more and do more?
I don't know. I couldn't really say. I feel like everybody's contributing all that they can. I feel like everybody's playing hard. We're just, making some mental mistakes, having some mental lapses out there. I feel like once we get past those or eliminate those, then you'll start seeing us put it together, and you'll start seeing it really click for us the way that it should be.
It seems like your front line, you've got a nice little 4-man rotation. The issue is more with the guards trying to get Allen and Justin some help. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, well, early in the season especially, and all throughout the season really, Allen and Justin have really established themselves as good scorers. They're great scorers. Both of them can shoot the ball, and they can put it down and really get to where they want. And so, teams see that and they say, all right, we're going to take those guys away. And so, it's got to be frustrating for them to constantly be the focus of the defense, but we've got to get the defense to focus on some other guys and start getting so that we can get Allen and Justin back open again, so we can start opening the game up again for everybody.
Bach, Brandon, your fellow senior, hasn't been able to play for a month now. What do you think he's going through, and how hard is that for him, do you think?
It's kind of hard because it's like his last season, so I always ask him every day at the practice, how you feeling and everything like that, but he keep telling me, like, every time he come into the gym and maybe run a little bit, he always have a headache. So, but today he came to the practice and he told me he was gonna practice tomorrow. So we're just really exciting for us, so he can, so the coach can move Justin to the 2 and Brandon can play at the 1. The good thing about Brandon is, like, he's a really good defensive player, and we actually kind of miss him pretty much for the most games that he missed. But we are really excited to have him. It's gonna be good.
So you're hoping to have him this week?
Yes, I'm really hoping to have him this week.
And David, the same thing. What do you think he's gone through, just as have to miss a month of his senior year?
I can't even imagine. I mean, it's his last season, and I mean, I know it was. I mean, even last year it got like emotional for me, like just playing with Harper and Jorge, trying to just have a good season so that they could enjoy their last season. So I mean, I feel the same kind of way, and I feel like I've gotten kind of close with Brandon, so I couldn't even imagine what it's like to be out for a month with a concussion on your last season. I mean, it's got to be rough on him.
How's he handled it? How's he come across to you guys?
I feel like he's handling it really well. I mean, he's not getting down on himself. I feel like he's really trying to work himself back into it. Like he definitely wants to come back. It's just one step at a time.
It's a little bit out of his hands, right?
Yep.
It's not like rehabbing a muscle or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's so much defensive attention focused on Allen. How does that change the dynamics of the defense, and how do you and the front line have to exploit it?
I mean, when they're focused on our offense is very opportunistic. I mean, there's so many different reads and so many different options that we can find that when they're focusing on Allen, there should be somebody else open. It's just a matter of overcoming those mental mistakes and just like making the pass and receiving the ball. It's just getting past a couple basic mental mistakes that we're making, and then it's going to start clicking for us. Because, once they're focused on Allen, that means that his man's not helping, which means somebody else is going to be open. So, we just got to exploit it.
What kind of mental lapses are you talking about?
I think Coach might have talked about it. Sometimes we're coming out of timeouts and not running our plays right, and, not catching the ball clean off of just like a basic pass, which kind of resets the whole offense. Just certain things like that, it just takes out of the rhythm of the game and makes it harder to run offense.
Well, Bach knows the offense. He'll tell you that.
I know your guys' focus is on Utah, but just what are your memories and impressions of playing against Colorado's front line, specifically Roberson?
Roberson's a great player. He really crashes the boards hard, and he plays really hard, gets after it. That's evident from his numbers, rebounding and blocking shots, and even scoring. He's a good player. He plays hard.
How do you explain why he's such a good rebounder?
He's really long. He can jump, and he's got the tenacious attitude for it.
Coach Montgomery was in here a little while ago talking about how he has sort of a knack, a nose for the ball. Is that something players recognize some players have, or can you learn that? Or
I feel like that might be part of it's like just being able to read the flight of the ball, and that might be something some people have or some people don't. Just like having that nose for it, but also I feel like having that toughness to just fight your guy, like just to go straight for the ball and not back away from it or just get boxed out. I feel like that's just as big of a part, if not more. So.
And that's something you can.
That's something you can
dictate,
control.
right?
Yeah, your effort's always something you can control.
Are you surprised at how much Colorado struggled so far in conference?
I haven't really. I've been more paying attention to us so much, so I haven't really seen what the conference standings are like. But I remember early in the season they were playing really well, so I don't know what they're doing right now in conference.